There's a specific kind of tired that doesn't go away when you sleep. You've felt it. That weight behind your eyes on a Tuesday morning, the 4 a.m. stare at a popcorn ceiling, the way your stomach drops when you open the banking app before the rent clears, and the way you open it 3 more times that day for no reason at all. You're not broke. You're not rich. You're somewhere in the middle of a country that quietly stopped having a middle. You wake up. You commute. You answer the email. You eat lunch at your desk. You drive home in the dark half the year. You microwave something. You scroll. You sleep badly. You repeat. And somewhere in there, you stopped asking why none of it ever feels like enough. This isn't a video about money. It's about what money does to the inside of a person. Because financial exhaustion isn't a number. It's a slow erosion of something that used to feel like you. It's the silence in the car after a 10-hour shift. It's the way you laugh half a second later than you used to. The way "I'm fine" became muscle memory. There are levels to this. A psychological progression most Americans walk through without ever naming, because naming it would mean admitting they're inside it. So let's name it. Together. If this is landing somewhere honest, subscribe. This channel is for the people who feel things they can't always explain. Level 1. Temporary becomes a personality. In the beginning, you tell yourself it's just for now. You're 23. The apartment has thin walls and a fridge that hums too loud. You eat the same pasta 4 nights a week. The mattress is on the floor. The car has a check engine light you've been ignoring since March. And you tell yourself like a prayer, this is temporary. You believe it. That's the dangerous part. You believe the version of you who's tired right now is a draft. The real you is coming. The one with savings. The one who orders the appetizer without scanning the right side of the menu first. You take the overtime. You skip your cousin's wedding because the flight is $340. You tell yourself it's fine. But here's what nobody warns you about. Temporary becomes a personality if you live in it long enough. Your body learns it. You flinch when your phone buzzes, even on your day off. The nervous system memorizes survival. The Federal Reserve says 37% of American adults can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. That's not a poverty stat. That's a stat about a country full of people whispering almost to themselves at red lights. You don't notice the moment temporary stops being temporary. There's no alarm. One day you just look up and realize you've been treading water for so long, you forgot there was supposed to be a shore. Level 2. The Friday. That isn't a Friday. Then comes the rhythm. The deposit hits at 12:01 a.m. You know because you checked. You always check. Rent goes out automatically at 9. The car payment Tuesday. The credit card minimum, which feels like progress and isn't. Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, the gym you stopped going to in February. The cloud storage that auto-renewed. The phone bill that went up $4 and didn't tell you why. You open the app on Monday and there's $211 left. You buy an iced coffee that costs $7.40 with tax. You know the exact number. You hate that you know the exact number. This is the paycheck trap, and it doesn't care how much you make. A 2024 LendingClub report found over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, including a startling share of households earning over $100,000. People making twice what they made 5 years ago, still waiting on Friday like it's oxygen. The trap isn't the number, it's the structure. Your calendar isn't a calendar anymore. It's a debt schedule. You measure time in pay cycles. You transfer $40 from savings to checking at 11 p.m. and tell yourself you'll move it back next week. You won't. You ask an older coworker if it gets easier. He laughs in a way that isn't really laughing. And you understand, somewhere deep, that you just got your answer. Level 3. The upgrade that quietly ate you. Then the raise comes. Or the new job. Or the title bump with the slightly better benefits package. For about 2 weeks, you feel like you finally caught up. You move to the apartment with the dishwasher. You trade the old Civic for something with payments. You stop buying the store brand coffee. You start saying yes to the $19 cocktail at the rooftop bar because you've earned it. You buy the better mattress. The AirPods, the Lululemon you swore you'd never spend $128 on. You tell yourself you deserve this. You do. You really do. But something strange happens around month 4. The new income doesn't feel new anymore. The bigger apartment came with a $230 electric bill in August. The car came with full coverage insurance you didn't budget for. The neighborhood came with brunches that run $50 a head before tip. The friend group came with a bachelorette in Nashville you can't say no to. You're not living above your means. You're living exactly at them, which is its own trap. Because the moment the transmission goes, the moment the molar cracks, the moment the dog needs surgery, the whole structure shudders. And you remember with a sick little jolt, you're one bad month away from where you started. Real wages have barely moved in 40 years when you adjust for inflation. But the lifestyle bar keeps climbing. Instagram shows you a kitchen you'll never afford. TikTok shows you a vacation you'll finance. The math of being okay keeps getting harder. The lifestyle changed. The fear didn't. Level 4. Buying your way out of feeling. Around here, the spending stops being about the things. It's 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're in bed. The blue light is on your face. You don't need another candle. You have candles. You don't need the new skincare, the third pair of running shoes, the silicone kitchen utensil set in sage green. But your thumb keeps moving. Klarna offers 4 payments of $14.75. You tap. The dopamine arrives before the package does. You're not buying a product. You're buying 90 seconds of quiet. 2 days later, the box hits the porch. You open it in the kitchen. For about a minute and a half, something inside you exhales. Then the feeling fades, and you put the thing on a shelf with the other things, and you go back to being tired. The average American carries over $6,500 in credit card debt. Interest rates have crossed 22%. We're not buying things anymore. We're financing our coping mechanisms. We're paying interest on the moments we tried to feel okay. You stopped buying products. You started buying versions of yourself you hoped would feel less exhausted. The pattern locks in. Buy. Brief relief. Shame at the statement. Work harder to cover it. Burn out from the working harder. Buy something to recover from the burnout. A wheel inside a wheel. The whole American economy quietly humming on people trying to feel slightly better at midnight. You're not bad with money. You're tired. And tired people make tired decisions. And an entire industry is built on monetizing that exhaustion at 11:47 p.m., while you're horizontal, while your guard is down, while the algorithm knows exactly what version of yourself you're trying to escape. If any of this is hitting too close, drop a single word in the comments, whatever you're feeling right now, and hit like if you want more videos that name what nobody else will. There's more, and it gets quieter from here. Level 5. The success that didn't save you. For some people, the numbers do go up. You hit a salary you would have cried about 10 years ago. The 401k has actual money in it. From the outside, you look like someone who made it. Family asks for advice. Old friends assume you're fine. LinkedIn looks like a small victory. And you wake up at 3:14 a.m. and stare at the ceiling and wonder why your chest still feels like that. This is the cruelest level, because everyone told you this was the finish line. Make enough, save enough, and the anxiety would lift, the shoulders would drop. It doesn't. The fear just changes outfits. Now you're afraid of losing what you built. You're afraid of the Slack notification at 9:47 p.m. You're afraid of the all-hands meeting that got scheduled with no agenda. You scroll LinkedIn and read layoff posts like horoscopes, looking for signs. You stretch to qualify for the mortgage, and now the mortgage owns the inside of your head. You bought peace, and they sold you a quieter kind of panic. You learn that money solves money problems. That's the whole sentence. It doesn't solve the marriage that's been sleeping in separate silences for 2 years. It doesn't solve the kid who'd rather text from upstairs than come down. It doesn't solve the person in the mirror with eyes you don't quite recognize. You used to think the version of you with money would be free. Turns out the version of you with money is just the version of you with more to lose. Level 6. When burnout becomes your personality. You stop noticing the symptoms because the symptoms are the baseline now. the jaw you wake up clenching, the headache that lives behind your right eye, the way you can't fall asleep without something playing, the way silence makes you anxious, the Sunday afternoon dread that starts around 4 p.m. and doesn't lift until you're already at your desk Monday morning, pretending. You drink the coffee. Then a second coffee. Then a third around 2 p.m. that you'll pretend isn't why you can't sleep. You answer the email. You smile in the meeting. You laugh at the joke that wasn't funny. You post the gym selfie. You tell your mother you're great because she worries when you don't, and you don't have the bandwidth to walk her through the inside of your skull. A Gallup poll found the majority of American workers report regular burnout, almost 80% of full-time employees. We've normalized exhaustion to the point where being well-rested feels suspicious. You start canceling things. The friend you actually like, the phone call with your sister, the hobby you used to love before work ate it. You don't cancel because you don't care. You cancel because you have nothing left. You're a phone at 4% battery, and every interaction is an app running in the background. You forget what you used to want, not the big dreams, the small ones. The way you used to read on Saturday mornings, the way you used to write things in a notebook nobody read. That person didn't die. They got quiet. They've been waiting in a room inside you for years, watching the door. Nobody notices when exhaustion stops being a feeling and becomes the weather you live inside. Level 7. The quiet rebellion. For some people, something shifts. Not the way movies show it. No breakdown in a parking garage, no grand resignation. It's smaller. It happens on a regular Wednesday at 6:18 p.m., and you almost miss it. Maybe you're standing in the kitchen holding a fork. Maybe you're driving home from a job that pays you fine and costs you everything. And something old, something you'd forgotten was still in there. Says one quiet word. Enough. Not a slogan. Just enough. Enough proving. Enough performing. Enough running so hard your own life becomes scenery you blow past on the highway. You start asking questions you've been afraid of for a decade. What is this all for? Who decided I had to want this? When was the last time I did something without a purpose attached? When was the last time I rested without earning it first? This isn't a productivity hack. This is older than money. It's the part of you that knows, somewhere deep, that a life isn't a balance sheet. The goal was never to die with the most. You start small. You say no to one thing. You sit on the porch for 10 minutes without your phone. You eat a meal without scrolling. You take a walk that doesn't count as exercise. You begin to notice your nervous system has been bracing for an impact that never came, and you start, slowly, to put the brace down. You realize wealth was never going to be a number. Wealth was the ability to lose an afternoon and not feel like you owed it back. Wealth was a Sunday that didn't feel like a countdown. Wealth was looking at someone you love and being actually there, not half listening while you mentally reshuffled bills. You don't get rich, you get returned. To yourself. To something you abandoned somewhere around level 2 and have been trying to buy back ever since. The quiet at the end. The exhaustion doesn't fully leave. The bills don't disappear. America is still America. Rent is still rent. And the system that wore you down is still humming, looking for the next person to feed in. But something inside you stops volunteering for the grinder. You still work. You still pay. You still wake up Monday and do what needs doing. But you stop confusing what you do with who you are. You stop measuring your worth in output. You stop apologizing for resting. You stop performing okayness for an audience that was never really watching. You realize the person you were trying to become was never as alive as the person you already were, the one buried under all those years of trying. Maybe that's the level nobody puts on a chart. Not freedom, not wealth, just a quieter kind of return. A coming home to something that was waiting on the steps of your own life, wondering when you'd finally stop running long enough to notice it. You started this video tired. You'll probably end it tired. That's okay. The point was never to fix you in 15 minutes. The point was to let you know that what you've been feeling has a shape. It has a name. It has levels. And every single one has been walked by millions of people who look just like you, in cars just like yours, on Tuesdays just like this one. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're exhausted in a country that profits from your exhaustion, and recognizing that is the first quiet act of taking yourself back. If this reached you, comment which level hit hardest. I read them. Hit like so this finds someone else who needed it tonight. There's another video on your screen right now that picks up exactly where this one ends. Watch it when you're ready. For now, just breathe. You've been holding it in for a long time.